Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that'll help you become your best self, and today we are talking about what is draining your energy, how to identify what's keeping you down. But before that, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on the podcast, yes, you're on the podcast. Come say hi to me on Instagram or TikTok. I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. I would love to chit chat with you and just get to know you online and become friends. That would be so super fun. You are also welcome to send me an email at realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, send them all there. Also, if you do have topic suggestions, but you don't want to tell me directly what those are, totally fine. If you look in the show notes below, there will be a link for an anonymous survey for topic suggestions. You can also sign up for the weekly newsletter that comes out every Wednesday afternoon, early evening-ish. Facebook community that's kind of like nothing's happening there right now. I'm trying to figure out what needs to happen there. I'm just being totally vulnerable and open about that. If somebody actually wanted to run that on behalf, that'd be awesome. I'm trying to figure out how to best have that, but I just don't know if that's like the best thing for us right now. Anyway, it's open if you want to join and chit chat in there. And then I think there's other things down in the show notes. Just take a look around, but let's go ahead and just jump right into today's episode, which again is what is draining your energy, how to identify what's keeping you down. So sometimes it's hard, it's difficult to even notice what is draining our energy if we don't take a step back to check it out. We wonder why we are feeling so overwhelmed or like we can't accomplish as much as we used to, or we just feel more tired than we used to, right? But it's not a natural response to see if something is leaching off you or stealing all your energy, which is why I wanted to bring it up to you today. Because I feel like a lot of us, and it's just a feeling. So if you're not in this group, that's totally fine. This episode will still benefit you. But I feel like a lot of people right now are in this season of life where we feel like a lot is going on. We are dealing with a lot of things. We feel super busy, overwhelmed. Maybe it has to do with our jobs or the goals and things that we're trying to accomplish. Maybe you're trying to do a side hustle on top of your regular job because you actually would rather do the side hustle full time rather than the job. Maybe it has to do with you and your partner and going through big life changes. Maybe it's you and your partner and your family, your kiddos. Maybe there's a lot of changes going on there. I know that I have changes with our kiddo going on this year as well. We are about to have a high schooler. So if you're going through something similar, yeah, it's a lot. So maybe it's not that though. Maybe you're trying to accomplish goals like financial goals or health goals or spiritual goals or whatever it is. Whatever it is. And you feel like, I just feel like there is so much going on. It feels like there's a weight on me. It feels like I don't have as much energy as I used to. It would be really, important and helpful for you to be able to identify that. Now, right from the bat, I want to tell you that everything on my list has nothing to do with your physical body, your physical health or nutrition or working out or anything like that. None of that here. And yes, I do want to acknowledge the fact that, yeah, those things could definitely be a significant, that could align with you having less energy. But that's not what we're talking about here today because, I like to talk about mental health minus emotional health. So that's going to be more geared towards that. But if you do feel like your body is running low on energy, just physically, which believe me, I understand that as well. I see my naturopath way too often for issues like this. Then get that checked out too, okay? I encourage you to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel like you need to be shameful for it. Don't feel like you need to feel weak about it or like it's some sort of taboo thing that going to see the doctor because you don't feel like you have enough energy, especially if you are surrounded by everyone else that has all the energy in the world. Don't feel bad to go get yourself checked out or go talk to a professional about it because why would you wait? Why wouldn't you just get it taken care of, nip it in the bud, be efficient, and then move on with your life? That's what I think. So anyway, just wanted to make that. So let's dive into some of the things that could be draining our energy. The focus of this episode will be to highlight what could be draining our energy, and I have 8 of those to share with you today and go through each one. If you would like in another episode in the future, we could talk specifically about things that will provide us and give us energy. I'm going to go through a couple at the end. After we go through the list of what takes, I'll give you like 2 or 3 that will give. But the purpose of this episode is really for you to learn how to identify what is draining your energy so that you can work on, kind of ridding your life of those things or pulling them back, taming it, whatever needs to happen. Okay, so let's dive in. The first one that I want to bring up is letting the past hold you hostage. I mean, do I really need to say anything else? So if we allow the past to hold us hostage, where we're really like always thinking about what happened in the past, like those past mistakes, those past failures, the embarrassing things. Man, I think about the embarrassing things too much. The regrets that you have of not following through with things or not taking risks or not telling the truth or not doing the right thing or maybe doing the right thing, but not doing it in the way you wanted so that you could have a different outcome in whatever happened. But if we allow the past to have such a chokehold on our life that it is not allowing us to enjoy what is happening here in the present, or even to look forward to and have hope for what could happen in the future, then it all seems like for nothing, right? We're just like so focused on what has already happened, which ironically we can't change. It has happened. And isn't it funny that we spend so much time thinking about everything that happened, even though we can't do anything about it, as opposed to thinking like, well, this thing happened. How can we prevent it from happening in the future? Or how can we take this information and apply it to trying this again and it going more smoothly in the future, or whatever the case may be, as opposed to looking at the past and like deciding to take all the information we can from those experiences and apply them towards the present and the future. We're more like, oh my gosh, like hindsight's 2020. I just wish I hadn't done this, that, and the other. I can't believe it. Like what would people think if they knew that? Like all of these things. We're so caught up in like what has happened in the past that it also prevents us from really, truly enjoying what's happening right now, which is the most important. Like even more so than the future, we need to enjoy every moment that's happening right here in the present. Now, I'm not going to say that I am perfect at this. Far from it, my friend. I am not. I aspire to be. I aspire to be really good at this and to not allow my anxiety to drag me into worrying about what's right around the corner and, my, problematic, I'll say. I was trying to figure out the best word. Problematic self-worth and low self-esteem to keep me caught up in the past. So just help yourself really focus on what's happening here in the present and not let that past hold you hostage to what has happened that you absolutely know that you cannot change. Okay, so the second one is being a people pleaser. I talk about this all the time, so I really don't need to go super in depth. However, maybe you're new here and you're like, Sabrina, I've never heard you talk in depth about people pleasing. Well, you're in for a treat because I do it almost every other episode. But people pleasing will drain your energy because you are living your life for someone else constantly. You're constantly there for their needs. You're constantly there for their desires. You're constantly there to make sure that they feel okay, that you're able to take responsibility for their emotions and take on their burdens and make sure that they are living their best life and you are second, third, 20th down on the bottom of the list. Like you can't even, you'll look at the list and you have to turn the page to maybe see you on the bottom of the list of who to take care of next. You yourself, you're not even remotely interested in taking care of yourself before anyone else. That is just like the lifestyle of a people pleaser. And believe me, as you know, I know inside and out, lifelong people pleaser here, working on it. But it drains our energy because we are giving all of our energy to pleasing these other people and being there for them first and not caring about taking care of ourselves. So we end up becoming depleted and can no longer serve these people and can't even function for ourselves on the reg, not even anything special. Just our normal daily life, getting out of bed and, getting to work and doing these simple tasks that we have to do to be alive and minimal, neutral, thriving. But we can't, where all of our energy can be drained from taking care of these people. So you really need to be on top of working on your people-pleasing behavior. I'm saying that to you because I say it to myself every single day. Every single day. Every single day. So let's just all be on top of that. Because it drains your energy like crazy. Okay, so the second one. I was going to say the next one, and then I think that's why I said the second one. Oh my goodness. Okay, the next one. Taking things personally. Oh my gosh, it's so difficult, right? It's so hard to not take things personally. But something that I thought of when I was thinking about this and thinking about notes, and I just now came to the realization, wow, and this might hurt some people's feelings, but when you take everything personally as if it's like a direct jab and cut with a knife to you, it's kind of narcissistic, don't you think? It's very all about you thinking that what that person said or did to you that affected so many people, or maybe it just affected you, and it really wasn't like a direct hit. It just happened that you were in the mix and you got hurt from it. And you're taking it so personally because you thought that you were directly attacked when really it was just like an attack of many that hit you, that ended up hitting you. You're just collateral damage in the whole thing. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like self-centered, narcissistic to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're personally attacking me. Just something to consider. I think that kind of just like helps us to like humble ourselves a little bit and be like, oh, it's not all about me. And sometimes we need that reminder, and that's okay. Don't feel shameful for that. I sometimes need that reminder, like it's not all about me. I got that reminder this week from some of my family. So, it's okay. It's okay. We all go through it. But don't get caught up in other people's insecurities on display that happen to shine down on you, okay? So even if you're not like super caught up in like, oh my gosh, maybe they did say something like directly to you, like you are the worst at your job. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that to me. How could they tell me that? I've been working so hard and getting better at this, that, and the other, and getting a promotion and getting a raise and all these things, right? And so you take it, you internalize it so personally as if they've attacked you, which maybe they did on purpose or not, whatever. And you're probably like, Sabrina, how could they say that and not be on purpose? It could have just been like an outburst, a reaction rather than a response, because we know reactions are bad, or not the greatest, rather. Responses are better. Anyway, focusing back on what I was saying, so you're taking things personally, they tell you you're terrible at your job, you feel so bad about yourself, but really you have to remind yourself that when people are attacking us or saying mean things about us and things that we will internalize and take personally and feel really bad and really just, 4x, 10x our shame inside, it's really just their insecurities on display, right? It is them showing us that they have their own problems and struggles to work on, and they're deciding to project it upon you because you are an easy target. Especially if they know they can hurt you, it makes them feel even better, takes some of the weight and their own pain off of their shoulders, and they can raise their head a little higher that moment, that day, whatever. So it sucks. Obviously, I'm going to be honest with you, it sucks, but it's more often than not about their personal issues than caring about what you're doing and how you're feeling. Honestly, hurting you, and if that makes them feel better, it's just a bonus. It's not the direct reason. It's just a bonus. So keep that in mind. Taking things personally will really drain your energy because you're allowing someone else's judgments and opinions to just soak up everything that's going on in your mindset and sometimes in your heart when it hits deep, and allow you to feel worse about yourself. To, again, 4x, 10x that shame. weaken that self-worth and self-esteem and make us feel so small and so less than. So taking things personally, that'll definitely be an energy drainer. The next one is holding grudges. I feel like I've talked about this kind of recently. And when I say kind of, I mean in the last few months. That's what I mean when I say kind of. So holding grudges, definitely an energy drainer. It's just poison that you're allowing to flow in your life if you keep holding on to that pain, disappointment, resentment, whatever it may be, and replay the experience of how it happened in your mind. Holding grudges will give you nothing except for a continuous flow of pain. It's like you have tapped yourself with an IV and it's just like it's going in, it's coming out. It's all pain. It's all pain all day, baby. So if you are holding grudges and continuing to get yourself wrapped up in that pain over and over again with no end in sight, it is draining all your capacity to feel good about yourself and to, be able to forgive and let go and move forward and to care about working on your own goals and dreams and ambitions, actually take care of yourself, administer some self-compassion, self-care time. You're so focused on being so upset about what happened to you, whether that person that did it cares or not, than to focus on what's important of like actually continuing on in whatever journey you're on towards the future. It drains all your energy to do things that are good for you because you're focusing on things that are bad for you, but you think it's good for you because you want people to be held accountable. But there's nothing you can do. Holding grudges doesn't solve anything, ever. Even if it does punish the person that did it to you, like they're not, like it's just, that's, okay, they feel bad. Like now what? Are we moving on yet? Is it time to go? Is it time to move forward yet? And we usually know. You just want to continue to make them feel bad because you feel bad. And then you can get wrapped up in like this treacherous circle in that way. It doesn't help anything. I promise you. I promise. If you need help letting go of that, I did do an episode recently on that. I don't remember which one. That's like so terrible of me. But I do know that you should go find it. I'll try to look for you because it is so stinking helpful for you to not hold grudges and not be so caught up in. It's basically also a different form of self-sabotage because you're not allowing yourself to grow and let go of those things. They're actually holding you back. I feel like a lot of people don't consider that it's actually things that are holding you back. I'm trying to find the episode as we're chatting right now. This is definitely something I should have done earlier because I actually am referencing another episode soon and I looked that one up. And I don't know why I didn't look this one up. It was recent though. Not too far away, I don't think. It was definitely this year that I talked about it. And isn't this like such great content, guys? You're literally just listening to me chatter on while I just look for an episode for you. And I do that because I don't like to edit the podcast too much because I want it to be like this free-flowing conversation that we are continuously having, so it doesn't feel like it's been super edited. I want to like have this like real deep conversation with you guys. Anyway, I encourage you to go look through the podcast episodes if you haven't already because it's definitely there for you. Talking about grudges and holding on to resentments and things like that. Go look in the show notes because I will, after I'm done recording here, I will put it in the show notes and you can reference it there. That's what we'll do. That's what I should have done from the beginning. Okay, moving on. The next one is avoiding rest to stay productive. So when you're avoiding rest, you are literally draining energy with this. literally draining energy because you're putting off rest to just do more work. And some would call it burning the candle at both ends. This also can be seen as burnout, whether it's personal burnout, which we've talked about, or it is work burnout, or it's both. It's both. And yes, there is a difference between personal and work. I have an episode on personal, and you should go check it out because it's kind of eye-opening. I'm like, wow, you can be burnt out in your personal life. You absolutely can. Without a shadow of a doubt, you can. So go listen to that one. But yeah, you can't expect to keep pushing yourself to the max and not eventually run out of energy. And then when you run out of energy, you're drained of energy and then you can't do any more work. It's more efficient for you to do work and then rest and then do more work as opposed to work until you run out of rest, because maybe you run out of rest at a time where you really wish you had wrapped things up. You really wish you had someone else come in and, tap in for you and take over it until you're rested and then you come back. You know what I mean? Things might get all messed up because you ran out of energy, you ran out of juice at the wrong time. So that's why I think it's really important for you to understand that avoiding rest is definitely an energy drainer just by the simple understanding that you need rest to have energy. Okay, so the next one is, we have 3 more, is unresolved trauma. So listen to episode 4 or 5. See, listen to that. See, I had that one. Ready to go. Listen to episode 405 if you aren't sure how trauma is showing up in your life, because that episode's all about how trauma shows up in your life and like understanding different things that you may just thought were like annoying random things that were happening to you that weren't that great, but just happening. And they're actually trauma like popping up in your life. And of course, it's not it's not just the final list of things. It's just a good list for you to be aware of. But unresolved trauma will definitely drain your energy. If we keep putting off our feelings, it just builds up to become something more difficult and time consuming. To deal with later. And it will pop up with more emotional repercussions in your life, i.e., trauma showing up in your life in different ways. So it's important for you to keep an eye on that. And I know that going through emotions, sometimes emotions are hard for people. They don't quite understand them. They don't understand like what is the purpose of having emotions and dealing with them. Why can't things just be yes or no, black or white, like just all or nothing? But that's just not the way the world works. And so you have to deal with your trauma, or else it'll keep like slowly like poking you in the back a little bit until there's so many pokes that you're starting to bleed out and you need someone to come to your rescue. And you don't want to get to that point. I've been to that point. Not fun. But you don't want to get to that point because it's not fun. And if you've been there, you know that. And if you haven't, I just don't wish it upon you. Not even on my worst enemy. It's not cool. So unresolved trauma can definitely drain your energy. So work with a professional if you need to, or just really, build on self-awareness and understanding what you went through, how that makes you feel, how that contributes to your daily life, and what you should do to move forward to not ignore it, but to honor it, and then move past those mindset struggles that you're dealing with. Okay, the next one is negative self-talk. Super simple, straightforward. Because you are shrinking yourself in your eyes and sometimes the eyes of others. If people overhear you, you're constantly talking negatively about yourself in front of your spouse, your friends, whoever, your partners. It's not great. But yeah, you are shrinking yourself without any self-compassion when you are continuing to talk negative to yourself. Now, I definitely put in like without self-compassion, because there's times where we talk negatively about ourselves because we're just like nitpicking all the things that need to get better. But if you follow that up with self-compassion of like, well, I am super annoyed with all of these things happening, but at least these things are progressing. These things are getting better. This is like astounding. Look at all these strengths. I'm still awesome despite these things. So if you're not coupling those things together, then it's definitely going to drain your energy, because like with negative self-talk, you're taking energy away from yourself, but with self-compassion, you're adding it back in. Like it's like going together. So it's like canceling each other out. Nothing bad happened. Nothing amazing happened. It just all worked out. right? So you will burn up your energy just trying to sustain yourself while breaking yourself if you are engaging in so much negative self-talk without self-compassion. Okay, so here's the last one. Here's the last one that I have for you today of energy drainers. Unbalanced relationships. Unbalanced relationships. Whew, man. I don't believe in balance all the time in relationships because that's not how life is, right? Sometimes people are going through really hard things and the other person isn't, and vice versa, right? Whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship, or even like, someone at church or in some sort of volunteer group, or I hesitate to say work. Maybe that could work. Maybe that could happen. I don't know. But I'm not really going to put that one on my own like personal list. But unbalanced relationships, because when it's like really off kilter, you need to reconsider how involved you should be. So if you feel like your relationship is really one-sided and you're always there for that other person, you're always like lending your ear and giving them advice when they ask for it and being there and showing up for them, but then you go through stuff and they're not showing up for you, right? And maybe it's because they're not emotionally available. Fine. However, that relationship's really unbalanced if they're not trying to give back to you, even in the slightest, right? They're just they're just like hanging you up to dry. They're like, no, I don't have anything to give you despite you giving everything to me emotionally in this relationship. So unbalanced relationships can really drain your energy because you're giving your all to someone and they're not pouring back into you. So you're continually this like a dry well of a person that's not receiving the love and care and attention that you need to continue operating as your amazing self. So just something to consider as an energy drainer. So if you want to invest, that's the entire list, just so you know. Those are all 8 of my examples. It's not a conclusive list. As always, do your own research. This is just based on my own research and experience and talking to others of things that will drain your energy. And always talk to a professional or Google it yourself. If you feel like none of these really hit home for you, there's like tons of lists on the internet. But if you do want to invest more into like what brings you energy as opposed to what drains, which is the list we just went through, look to things that provide you with joy without having to try hard, right? And by hard, it's subjective. It's really subjective based upon what you think is hard. So for me, something that really like brings me energy and joy is singing worship at church, or even just singing at home in my office or in the car or whatever. And yes, singing at church might take work because I actually have to practice and learn the songs and attend practice and then go to church and practice again and then actually perform. But it doesn't feel like that much work to me. I don't feel like I have to try that hard because it's something that brings me so much joy and contentment, right? Maybe there's a hobby that you really like to do that brings you joy and you want to invest more time into that, especially when you feel like your life is full of things that are draining your energy. You need to be able to like have things that breathe life back into you and just get you excited about life. You can always like connect with people that are comforting and easy to be around, that you're comfortable being vulnerable with. So being able to share what you're going through, be able to have someone that maybe they don't necessarily understand everything you're going through, but they're able to listen, like actually actively listen without interrupting you or coming up with their own opinions and advice before you ask for it. That's really important to have. So if you have those people that do make you feel comfortable and easy breezy to be around, definitely tap into that. And I do encourage you to set aside actual time in your calendar or wherever you need to be, wherever it needs to be. Like if it's like a to-do list, like on your desk, or it's a calendar on your wall, or like on your phone or whatever, post a note on your fridge. It needs to be there for you to be reminded to take care of your emotional struggles and give yourself a break from life's boundaries. Burdens. Take a break from life's burdens, which would include implementing personal boundaries. So, you need to take care of yourself. You need to implement personal boundaries with the people in your life, whether it's your spouse, your kids, your friends, your family, your work peoples, whomever, so you feel safe within the boundaries that you've created for yourself. You don't feel like too many people are going to try to overstep or manipulate you or do things to make you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, anxious, whatever it is. But it's also important for you to address your emotional struggles and to honor your feelings and figure out the best way for you to start responding rather than reacting if that's something that you struggle with. And taking a break from life's burdens would be just like giving yourself some rest, some time. Maybe you take a day off of work if you can do that. Maybe you just take a whole weekend day to yourself without friends and family, just like kind of like to reset and recharge on your own if you enjoy that kind of thing. And just really making time for yourself, even if it's just like pockets of time during the day, like 30 minutes to an hour. If that's all you can do right now based upon like your family life and what's going on right now, do it. Make the time to do it as opposed to sitting and like, I don't know, working extra on something that's not necessarily needed right now. Spend that time on you so that you will feel rested and rejuvenated to continue living your life in the best way that you can. Like the best way that you can. But that's all that I have to share with you today in regards to what is draining your energy and how to identify what's keeping you down. So thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. I encourage you to look at the show notes below for, again, how to sign up for the weekly newsletter. Find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. Send me an email. Fill out the anonymous topic suggestion form. I'm looking there for, suggestions for the podcast, and all kinds of things down there. Also, where I'm going to update you on the podcast episode that I did that was related to holding grudges. So if you'd like to learn more about that, that'll be there too. But until next time, and thank you so much for downloading, sharing, and listening to the show. You're fantastic. I couldn't do it without you. But until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.